All right. Thanks. So, ground rules as usual. We're here to bring our needs, our wants, and if there's any give back that you want to offer to this community, that's what we're here for. We're here to support one another. Um, build the community as it says. And so, use the chat function below at the bottom of your screen on the Zoom app is a chat function. Use the chat function below to introduce yourself, put in your needs, put in your wants, and if you're giving something back, throw that in there as well. If somebody aligns with you, use the chat to connect with them. You could have a private discussion with them by starting a new chat. That way you can have a private conversation, or you can make it public, however you want to approach that. These calls and these chats are uploaded into our school platform. So if you're a school member and you need to go back to something, it's there. Okay. So, all right. I wanted to go through a couple things briefly, just for clarity on how this is working and what I've seen in the last couple of weeks. But I did want to start off briefly with kind of I don't know, it's my own observation within not only my community, but on a national level. And that is just watching this country coming together in the last week since Charlie Kirk's passing, and being able to watch, through the news, through a various amount of activities around the country, how everybody's coming together for a common cause. And that feels really good. So for me, when I think about community, watching that in real time on a national level, if you happen to catch his memorial service in Arizona, I guess there was over 100,000 people in attendance. And it's just pretty amazing that people are coming together for real causes, real reasons, and warms my heart. Because remember, this community is built on faith, family, and business. So with that being said, I wanted to give you some examples on how this is working and how you can also leverage this as a community for your own benefit. And those examples are as follows. So if you were on one of our first calls, Rob Bailey was here from Flag Nor Fail. If you know Rob or you know his story, his wife was the first Miss Olympia. And so obviously they have a lot to do with the fitness world. Well, I introduced them to another person on these community calls, which was Trent Cook. He's not here yet today. Trent is building a gym facility here in Kalispell, Montana. So by collaborating and connecting the two of them, they're able to find the best gym equipment at a great price, and get some advice on maybe how they should build out that gym. So that is community working together through this call. Another great example is that Heidi connected with Rachel on some real estate deals. Another great connection. Heidi went even a step further to get some coaching on her own platform with Brad Dunn, who's been on these calls, who's also a member of our school community. Brad is an expert at building out these communities. Another great example is Matt, who is a builder connected with my wife, of all people, to help build out his website on SEO stuff. So this community is working in action. So as you start to look at the personalities and see what people are posting up in the chat, what they do, take a moment to introduce yourself and find that connection and leverage it. And by the way, I see Kyle's on. Kyle's been connected with several people on this call for a lot of reasons. And, that's again, how this thing is supposed to work. If you're in the school community, I wanted to point out, we've had several new members add in the last week, but my business coach of the last 8 years, David Meltzer, joined. He's out of Orange County. If you ever saw the movie Jerry Maguire, that was built on the story of Leigh Steinberg. Well, David was his CEO and went off and started his own sports agency. I'm thrilled to have Dave, mainly because Dave has great access to marketing. He's partners with Gary Vaynerchuk out of New York City. And so there's some neat collaborations with Dave. And then Matt Vincent just joined the other day. Matt's another massive figure in the fitness world, as well as kind of the personal growth development area. So lots happening on that back end, and we're watching the community grow. So thanks for being here today. I'm going to go to Rachel Svoboda. We've got a guest that she brought on, so I want to have her introduce that guest and say hi. I know you're driving, so you have to take off mute there and tell us who you got.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Um, Good morning. So I want to introduce you to Laura Rivera today. She is going to come on as our special guest. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Laura for many years. Our kids actually became friends, and then we became friends shortly thereafter. And I've been always very like it's been admirable to watch Laura because she's an amazing mother, but she's built her amazing Mary Kay business along as she's been raising her kids, and she works in real estate, and she's a huge philanthropist, and she was president of the National Charity League last year, which takes the patience of a saint. And she's just an all-around amazing woman, and I'm really delighted to introduce you guys to her. She is a wealth of knowledge on beauty and skincare and fitness and wellness and real estate and parenting and all the things. So I'll let Laura kind of jump in from there and talk a little bit more about what is going on and what she can bring to the group. So go ahead, Laura.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Rachel.
you so much. I'm very honored to be here today. And so great to see all your wonderful faces this morning. But yeah, I joined Mary Kay 27 years ago, and it wasn't to be the Mary Kay lady, but it was just because I want to start taking care of myself. And they said discount. And so that's really how it got me started. But I went to school, got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree in social welfare. So I worked in that field for 10 years. So my heart has always been about people. It's always been about trying to bring positivity in our world, to bring relationships in a great way to build positive relationships. And so I kind of found that in my Mary Kay business, that it was so much more than makeup and skincare. It was more about empowering women, men as well, but mainly women is that I have worked with. And so that's really what has made me stay in this company, is because I get to build these relationships that are amazing. And now it's generational because they've been around for 27 years. I'm seeing the little children getting married and having their own children, and that just blows my mind because I'm like, I can't be that old. But I do have three children. I have a 38-year-old son who's married, and two children, two little boys who are my heart, two little grandbabies. And then I have another daughter who's 25, who is just got her job at the University of San Diego. And then I have a 15-year-old. So I'm still in school. And so she's homeschooled, and she has her dream, and she's living her best life because she gets to play tennis 5 hours a day because that's what she wants to do. And so she's in an academy. And so yeah, it's lots of different life things are always happening. And I love flexibility because of that, because I need the freedom to be able to do all the things that I love. As Rachel said, I served as our president for our National Charity League, which is a national program for mothers and daughters. And it's about leadership, philanthropy, and oh gosh, I forgot the third pillar, culture. So that is, it just, they needed someone. I said, okay. And so I kind of stepped right into that position after I had been away for 4 years because my other daughter had already graduated from that program. But that's just kind of what I just feel like my life is all about. How can I help? How can I bring a positive community? Um, Mary Kay is based on God, family, career, and it really taught me to kind of put my priorities in order that way. And so whenever I could be of help to others, whether it's a listening ear, whether it's maybe some guidance, maybe it is a connection to somebody else, I'm always open to build that relationship with others. So that's kind of just me and my business in a nutshell.
Laura, appreciate it. I do have a few questions for you for the
Yes.
group, on our school platform, because I don't see them on the call today, but we have a number of people in, network marketing. It's very similar business model as Mary Kay. We also have some agents that work within, whether it's Keller Williams, it's kind of that same model, or real brokerage like myself. Can you talk about, you've been in this business for a long time. I think you said 27 years. How have you found success? How have you built out your network? To be able to be in that industry for so long?
It really had started with, yes, people I knew, but I also learned the art of networking. And that really helped a lot in being able to get involved in community networking groups and being able to be that resource of, again, business connections. And also my business, like we do what's called a hostess program. So when people get to host, they get free product, and who doesn't like free? And that is how I've gotten to know other people. So it's being able to figure out like what's in it for them that will make them want to introduce me to new people. So that's been a really good way that I've been able to network with other people. But I just think really the core is relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to build an honest knowing that I'm there for them, like what's in it for them, how am I going to make their life better, whether it's a good product, whether it's a good opportunity. So I really think it comes down to the relationship.
Okay. I actually have a couple more questions for you, but just so they're prepared. I see Jeremy just got here. Jeremy, I got a question for you before you go. Hang tight. Let me finish up with Laura, and then Sheila's going to talk to us about interest rates briefly. So Laura, just going back to your topic here. Look, I've been in and around Mary Kay products my whole life. People have come and gone through my life that sell the product. How do you maintain interest in a product that kind of ebbs and flows? Are some people, I don't want to say negative connotation, but like, oh, there's a Mary Kay lady, right? How do you overcome that? Because just like in any other business, there's people that aren't interested, or there's a negative connotation. How are you breaking that barrier still after 27 years?
Oh, that's good. And especially that I'm from Southern California and there are so many products constantly out there. And I don't deny there's great products out there, but I just like people to give me the opportunity to share with them of what we have. And so I'm never about talking badly about other products. I'm all about, let me tell you the benefits of my product, my service, what I can offer you. And it's okay if they say no, if it's okay that they don't want to be involved, that's okay. But if I could just have the opportunity when the door is open to be able to share that. And so I think that's how, once they get to touch, feel it, and see that their skin is looking just as good or feeling just as good, then that brand X that may have cost them double, triple the amount, that they don't necessarily need to have just that brand just because it's a brand. So that's, I think, what kind of breaks down those barriers. And so.
Okay. Any final piece of advice for somebody that's getting into network marketing or multi-level marketing, from somebody that's been doing it for so long?
I definitely would say to, find your safe group, protect your mind, because I think that's the biggest challenge is what's happening between our ears, what kind of conversations we're having with ourselves. So it's all about mindset. And I think that is what's important that we spend every day working on is our mindset, because it's easy to spiral negatively. But I'm always looking for the yeses. It's like, I know I'm going to have no's, but I'm looking for the yeses.
I love it. Well done. Well, thanks for being here today. Please
Thank
put in
you.
the chat how people can get a hold of you if they're looking for some Mary Kay.
Okay.
So thanks for doing that. Hey, Sheila, if you can unmute, I know we'll probably be brief on what's happening with interest rates right now, what you're hearing on a national level, local level, and maybe one or two products that you're combating that with.
Absolutely. All right. So we had our best interest rates the day before the Fed dropped rates 0.25%. So long-term rates anticipated the 0.25% drop. And we locked in some loans the day before, and we were glad we did. We didn't know which way it was going to go. So interest rates have come up a little bit. Let's see. Jerome Powell came out yesterday and said he is expecting interest rates to drop a little bit over time. I watched Barry Habib was reading something from him this morning. So they are anticipating interest rates to stay fairly steady through the rest of 2025. We're seeing a little bit of volatility, but kind of bump up and bump down. Maybe we'll be a little bit lower by the end of the year. But the Fed is anticipated to drop 2 more times this year, but that doesn't necessarily reflect exactly what's going to happen in the interest rate market for long-term rates. But anyway, we'll be watching. I do think we're going to see them come down a little bit, and they're expecting more of a drop by the end of 2026. So we're hovering around 6.25 right now. And the Fannie Mae forecast is for 6.4 at the end of the year. So it's
Oh,
actually higher. But anyway, I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a little bit lower. And then 2026, I think we're going to see a little bit lower. Right now, short term, watching inflation. So Barry Habib is forecasting a drop in inflation, which could improve interest rates. And then we're watching the October 3rd jobs report. So if that comes in strong, you could see rates come up. So there's my summary.
well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Just a quick thought for those in the market out there looking around, whether you're investing in properties or looking to buy something. What other products are you, I don't want to say showcasing, but suggesting if somebody can't wait for the rates to do anything?
So we have some tools we can use. We can use temporary buy downs. So we can keep the interest rate lower for a year, 2 years, or 3 years. Drops the payment pretty significantly initially and gives you some room to kind of ramp up to the higher interest rate over time. Typically when you're buying a home, the seller is going to pay for that. That's been helpful. And um, and we are starting to see some ARM products come back into the market pricing wise too. So I'm seeing some 5-year and 7-year ARMs that are a little bit lower. So maybe short-term interest rates are starting to come back on the curve. So
Okay.
ARMs have not been good for a long time. So nice to see them coming back.
Awesome. Love it. Hey, thanks for your updates. Appreciate it. Jeremy, go down on mute. I'm going to come to you next if you don't mind. Why do we talk about interest rates, or why is it important that Sheila's here? Because when things are happening in her industry, we either have more money or less money to do other things with. And as entrepreneurs, we're always looking to, whether it's make money, sell something, fund a project, grow our business. I mean, the list is long. So by bringing together a group of people from a variety of industries, we can find out what's going on in one area that might affect another area of what we do here. And as I've seen the variety of people that have showed up to these calls, it's great to have a little bit of input from everybody. So I'm going to spend a few minutes with Jeremy. If you have questions, or if you want to say something, just raise your hand and I'll come to you after Jeremy. So Jeremy is the founder of Corvive. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you, Jeremy, is I love what you guys are doing recently with some of the new products. By the way, I picked up some product from you the other day. I got on the mailing list again for all that other stuff. But talk about what you just came out with and why and how important it is to our diets and health, and then a little bit of some of the systems that you employed.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Jim. Number one, I want to say thank you for everything that you did for me and my company and my family. I hired you back in the spring, and I think consultants are really good. I'm hard-headed, Jim. Sometimes it's hard for me to swallow my pride and say, man, I need an outside perspective. And bringing you on to give us some wisdom has really turned the direction of not only helping from a sales perspective, but feeling a comfort within of knowing that this is the direction I wanted to head. I just didn't have the confidence of doing that until I reached out to you about consulting with me and the company. We just come out with creatine. It's a phenomenal product. I mean, a lot of people, they see it over and over and they think, oh, I should take that. And then I hear a lot of women say, well, I don't want to get bulky. It's not going to make you bulky. It's the creatine, really what it does is it helps with your ATP regeneration, which your ATP is what gives your muscles the energy. I take about 15 grams a day, not only because I work out, but it helps from a cognitive standpoint as well. My mom is struggling with dementia. She's 76 years old. My dad will tell you the days that she misses it, there's a dramatic difference. I work with about 150 elite athletes a month. I've got 3 that'll be in the first round draft pick next year that I work anywhere from 14-year-olds all the way through the pros. It makes a dramatic difference in their performance, their recovery time. There's a lot of medical professionals I work with that's recommending it for ADD and ADHD. I could go on. And then I'm going to send you some images today. We're actually running a new product tomorrow that we are going to be having our Hydrate product, our original formula that you know that we sell a lot to the MLB teams. We're coming out with the kids version with prebiotics and postbiotics, probiotics as well. So I want to send you that packaging and get your approval, and we're going to be running that here in a couple of days. But I'm just excited to be a sports nutrition company that focuses on the family. You know, you was spot on of saying, Jeremy, quit trying to do too much here and here, too much there. Let's focus on what your core is, and why you named it Core Vive is taking care of the core, and Vive meaning in French, living life. And let's really focus on your niche, which is letting families know that we're going to bring them together through nutrition. And it's definitely something that we are very proud of being known as every family that they're looking for a sports nutrition company, they can trust it, that brand Core V for their whole family. It's safe enough for me to put in my boy's body and my body, and it's safe enough for them.
So, Jeremy, one of the things that I was fascinated by when I first met you was just the notion of working with young adults, you know, early teens. And I've been in the fitness industry as a consumer since the early 80s. And, you know, even at that time, it felt like I was a little bit young to be on, you know, supplements and stuff like that. What is it, or why is it important to our youth? Because I think half the people in this call, we have kids, you know, or we're gonna, or we are kids ourselves. So what is it, or why should we be focused on our nutrition at an early age?
You know, Jim, it just fires me up. It's a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding the importance of getting your kids early, teaching them about macros, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, not just supplements. I spoke to 75 females last night, and it was a female daughter organization. And I asked them, and they was all athletes. Every one of their daughters was athletes, from competitive cheer to gymnastics to soccer to softball. And I asked them a simple question. I said, do you know how many calories your daughter is burning a day? Not one knew.
Mm.
Then I asked them another question. Do you know how many calories your daughter needs in a day? None of them knew. Do you know how much protein they need, how much carbs they need, how much fats they need? And yes, I own a supplement company, Jim, but it fires me up to educate the masses. How can we teach people about general nutrition, of letting them know that you have two major growth spurts in life, 0 to 2. The only one that's better is the puberty years. And those puberty years are so crucial of making sure your kids get all of the nutrients that they need to grow to their full potential, as God designed your genetics to be able to do that. And very few of them are meeting what their potential is, because they're not getting the nutrition. And again, I own a nutrition company, but when I work with my athletes, my elite athletes that I build meal plans for, I only want them drinking one protein a shake a day, not because it's bad for them, but I want them to learn about real foods. I want them to learn. I've got 150 athletes on my board right now that I'm working with that are trying to get to D1. And when they go to D1, or if they was to go to D1, when they walk into a D1 room, they have exactly their calories they need, their macros, their meals lined out. But how many athletes never make it there because they wasn't taught nutrition at home? How many was not able to perform at their full potential because they had no understanding of what nutrition that they need in their home place? So, you know, my Instagram channel, my TikTok channel, my wife and I, we've done 4 recipes today. We just love educating, not just about selling products, but how can I bring value to the marketplace to make sure that we have got to be responsible parents of letting our athletes know when we sit down at the table, how much fats we have, what are fats good for, hormones and brain development, how much protein, what is it good for, muscle building, muscle recovery, our carbs, what is it? How much do we have on the plate? That's our good fuels. And then later I will transition into teaching my, you know, big time elite athletes that I work with about micronutrients as well. But it's just a fire in me because I have 2 young athletes, and they are and even I told the moms, there was 2 moms in the room last night that their daughters weren't athletes. And I'm like, they need to still train like athletes. They need to still eat like athletes. They need to still understand the importance of nutrition, because that can carry them on through the whole rest of their life.
So, by the way, I think you post more about real food than you do your actual product that you sell. Every day you're posting, a healthy meal that you're making for your kids or your family. Just a personal example that happened today. My wife has really been suffering the last couple of weeks. She wasn't really sure what was wrong with her. Come to find out, she was severely depleted in magnesium. And the doctor's like, there's so many things that happen in our society now, and the lack of it in our foods. You can get out of whack on that super quick. He put it on her IV drip. She came back home feeling 100% again. So to neglect your supplements and what you're doing there really is not doing yourselves any favors. So I appreciate what you're doing, what you're offering.
Well, thank you for all the wisdom, Jim. You've been a great help to me in the company.
Well, it was fun. Hey, there is one question for you, Jeremy. It says, what about all the different types of creatine, HCl, CEM, CE, or monohydrate?
Okay, I stick with creatine monohydrate. I don't worry about anything else, but what I look at on the back of the ingredient is, does it say creatine monohydrate and nothing else? I don't look for any fillers, no additives, or anything. All I'm looking for is that creatine monohydrate. And one of the little side tips also is, don't mix it with caffeine. Mix it with water, a hydrate, electrolytes drink, anything other than caffeine.
So what's the negative effects of caffeine on that, by the way?
There's not a negative effects. It just does not work as well. There's a lot of studies that's been done that caffeine is a stimulant, as we know. And so there's a lot of research studies that's been proven that you don't see the results from the ATP regeneration when you add it with caffeine, because caffeine's trying to stimulate that muscle and the creatine's trying to relax that muscle and get it to regenerate quicker.
Got it. Love it. Well, I've been on your products for almost a year now, and it was a pleasure working with you and seeing what you're doing and learning more about you. And I have nothing but great things to say about your supplements. The protein specifically is what I lean into. So thanks for that. I don't want to call you out, but Lacey, you're new to the call, I think. Do you want to just say hi and tell us what you do real quick? Take yourself off mute.
Yeah. Hi, thank you so much for having me here. And Laura is actually who introduced me. She is amazing, and we've known each other for years. So thank you, Laura, for bringing me onto this call. I am a fractional COO, and I partner with business owners part-time and put admins, systems, and operations together so that business owners can scale and not be bogged down by administrative work. I love what I do, and I am just looking to meet new people. I love networking, and as I've grown my company over the past few months, it's really gained some traction, and I'm excited to be here and to meet all of you.
Well, I appreciate that. You may want to connect with Riley Kuntz before the call is up. She's doing similar to what you do from an operational standpoint. So she's also on the call today. And by the way, that is a perfect example of how these calls work. Peter, any legal issues we should be aware of, or anything in your world, or are you just enjoying some Southern California weather?
Well, there's always legal issues, I guess, people be worried about everywhere, but nothing pertinent. Always happy to help if anybody does have some legal questions about their business, corporate matters, structures, shareholders issues, contracts, things of that nature. But until things come up, we'll always be here to help. And sometimes in advance, obviously, you want to take and be proactive, just like everybody's business, or whatever it may be, to attack things before they get out of hand, small things and things like that. But the weather is decent in California, but it's a little bit warmer than in Montana right now. So sounds like we have a lot of people from Southern California, so they know.
We do. We got Tennessee on here and a few other places. So Peter, thanks for being on the call today. If you do need any legal help or advice, please reach out to me if you don't have Peter's contact. He's also on our school platform. You can catch him there. Before we wrap, Jeremy, there's one more question from Heidi on creatine. For all female fitness peeps that use creatine over 50 on estrogen, you will find using creatine will have you retain water more than the norm.
That's not a question. That's a truth.
No, it's a statement. Yeah. So Sheila's asking any ideas on how to combat that. That's probably the question part.
Yeah, I got some answers for you.
Heidi, obviously I'm not a woman in that situation, but
Yeah.
I do have a lady that does a lot of recipes for us on Core Vive, and she is that age. And what she explains it to women is the first couple of days you will see a pound or two, but she says that goes away through good water use. So I'd love to hear your feedback.
Well, in my experience, and I am 52 and I do take creatine and I do take estrogen, is that even though you do that, you will with still have water retention. So a female in her own walk will have to judge that in her own personal experience. She'll have to outweigh the pros and cons. And I think it's an individual experience at that point for what their goals are and where they're going. So that's what I coach on.
I love it. I got two
Awesome.
awesome experts on the call. Hey, look, as we wrap, just like interest rates and Mary Kay products and all the other things we've talked about today, health and fitness is so critical to your success in business and in your personal life with your family. At 57, I'm so grateful for being in good shape, having good supplements like what Jeremy provides and fitness from Brad. I can pick up my 9-year-old and my 11-year-old and throw them around all weekend long. So this is all important to what we do. We're going to have several guests coming up in the next few weeks or through October that you won't want to miss out on it. I'll continue to send the invites. If you're curious about who those guests are, you can ask me and I'll let you know as we lead into those weeks and we confirm them. But you're not going to want to miss some of these calls. Please invite whomever you like. This is community. We'd love to just grow the group. So thanks for being here. Have a great balance of your week.